Chip and Dale up against Pete is such a fresh concept. Usually in shorts, Chip and Dale are up against Donald Duck, sometimes some other characters, but off the top of my head, I can't think of another Disney short where it's Chip and Dale versus Pete. I'm also a fan of Western themes, and this is exactly what we have with the Lone Chipmunks. Obviously, the title there is parodying the Lone Ranger. This was released originally in 1954, directed by Jack Kinney, and we have interestingly, we have Dessie Flynn as Dale and Norma Swank this time as Chip, and Billy Bletcher as the character who's called Black Pete. It's also Pegleg Pete or just Pete. And the description from IMDb sums this up well without spoiling it. Well, I'll read it in part. I won't read the whole thing because it does give the game away a bit. But to begin with, this says, in this Lone Ranger spoof, a cleaned up version of Pegleg Pete robs a western bank and makes his getaway, and decides to hide his loot in a tree inhabited by two chipmunks. They resent the intrusion, but really begin to give Pete a hard time when they discover a reward that posters for his capture. So their opinion changes quite dramatically there, because to begin with, they're like, how dare you inhabit our tree with your trash? Obviously, they don't realise this straight away, that it's loot that is worth a lot. And then they realise that there's a reward for his capture, and they could get that reward. They suddenly want this, and Pete is at their disposal. But of course, Pete is also going to try and stop them from doing anything to give the game away for him. Who will win? Will Pete get away? Will Chip and Dale get the reward? I'm not going to say what happens, of course, but I found it to be a really fresh and exciting, unpredictable narrative. I love Chip and Dale's characters. I think they're fantastic. And Pete, I have a love-to-hate relationship with. I always hate him. I even don't like him in Mickey Mouse Clubhouse, even though he's kind of a bit softer and a bit more likeable. But as a character, I love to hate him. I really hoped Chip and Dale would win. I'm not going to say what happens, but I enjoyed watching the narrative. There's the element of excitement there, of thinking who's going to get the better of the other person, who will come out on top. The Western vibes obviously are something that I really enjoyed. I felt it was well animated, well edited, nice music, nice colour choices. Chip and Dale are very, very cute. This is there's one particular scene where Pete's holding, I think it was Dale, and he just looks so vulnerable and adorable and absolutely precious. I thoroughly enjoy this. It was quite funny. There's a scene where I think Chip pokes his head through the wanted poster, and Dale's reaction is hilarious. It might have been the other one. It's not as easy to distinguish between the two of them here as it is in more recent versions. I think Dale's nose is a bit more red, but the teeth are still quite the same. So you have to pay quite a lot of attention to work out who is whom. But I really enjoyed it. The Lone Chipmunks sounded interesting. It sounded different to a lot of Chip and Dale shorts. Yes, I nearly did just say Dale and Chip. And I found it to be a lot of fun. If you're a fan of Chip and Dale, definitely watch The Lone Chipmunks. For me personally, although it's not my all-time favourite Chip and Dale short, I definitely had a lot of fun with it.